Hello, I'm Rachel from Strategic Solutions Chartered Financial Planners. Today we're exploring the importance of trusts. A trust is a legal arrangement where you give cash, property or investments to someone else so they can look after them for the benefit of a third person. For example, you might put some of your savings aside in a trust for your children. In a trust, assets are held and managed by one person or people, the trustees, to benefit another person or people, the beneficiaries. The person providing the assets is called the settlor. Trusts are set up for a number of reasons, including to control and protect family assets, when a beneficiary is too young to handle their affairs, when someone cannot handle their affairs because they're incapacitated, to pass on assets while a settlor is still alive, to pass on assets when a settlor dies, also known as a will trust, under the rules of inheritance if someone dies without a will. There are three key roles involved with trusts: a settlor, a trustee, and a beneficiary. The settlor is the person who puts the assets into trust. The settlor decides how the assets in a trust should be used. This is usually set out in a document called the trust deed. Sometimes the settlor can also benefit from the assets in a trust. This is called a settlor interested trust and has special tax rules. The trustees are the legal owners of the assets held in a trust. Their role is to deal with the assets according to the settlor's wishes as set out in the trust deed or in their will, manage the trust on a day-to-day basis and pay any tax due, decide how to invest or use the trust's assets. If the trustees change, the trust can still continue, but there must always be at least one trustee. The beneficiary is the person who the trust is set up for. The assets held in trust are held for the beneficiary's benefit. There might be more than one beneficiary, like a whole family or defined group of people. They may benefit from the income of a trust only, for example, from renting out a house held in trust, the capital only, for example, getting shares held in a trust when they reach a certain age, both the income and the capital of the trust. Trusts can be set up at any time or written into your will. At Strategic Solutions, your financial advisor will be able to help you set up a trust. They can help guide you through setting out what the assets are, who the trustees and beneficiaries are, when the trust becomes active. Choose people you can rely on to be your trustees and make sure they're happy to take on this responsibility. You should have at least 2 trustees, but can choose up to 4. There are many different types of trust that can be set up depending on how you want to control your assets. Let's explore some of the more common types of trusts. Bare Trust. This is the simplest trust and gives all assets to the beneficiary as long as they are 18 or over. Assets in a bare trust are held in the name of a trustee. However, the beneficiary has the right to the contents of the trust at any time if they are 18 years old or over. This means the assets set aside by the settlor will always go directly to the beneficiary. Bare trusts are often used to pass assets on to young people. The trustees look after them until the beneficiary is old enough. Interest in Possession Trust. The beneficiary can get the income from the trust straight away, but cannot control the assets that provide the income. The beneficiary has to pay income tax on the money they receive. It's common for a settlor to give their partner access to this kind of trust in their lifetime, with any assets passing to the settlor's children after their partner dies. Discretionary Trust. The trustees have complete control over the assets and the income they generate, deciding how and when to give them to the beneficiaries. People may set up this kind of trust for their grandchildren, making the grandchildren's parents trustees. Trust for a vulnerable person. Some trusts for disabled people, or for children, get special tax treatment. These are called trusts for vulnerable beneficiaries. If the only person who benefits from the trust is a vulnerable person, for example, someone with a disability or an orphaned child, there is usually less tax to pay on income and profits from the trust. Hopefully this video has helped highlight the benefits of using trusts. Trust law is complicated, and if you're not careful, you can walk into an immediate tax charge when setting it up. To make sure you get things right, it's important to get professional advice before setting up a trust. If you'd like to explore this more, please speak with your financial advisor.